Welcome to another exciting episode of Transcend, the Christian Thinking Talk Show. Yes, say it with me. The Christian Thinking Talk Show, unlocking truth, transcending lives. This week, I'm super excited. I'm happy. And I know you have heard me say it almost every week, guys, but trust me when I tell you that I'm super excited about this episode because I have none other than my friend, a woman of the gospel, somebody that I look up to greatly in the general Toronto area, and might I even say broader Canada. She is the lovely evangelist Anita Bryan-Nelson. Evangelist Lady Anita Bryan-Nelson, welcome to Transcend.
Thank you.
We're exceedingly happy to have you.
I'm excited to be here.
We want to jump straight into it. We have an exciting topic, y'all, and I believe that Lady Nelson is so equipped to deal with this topic. It is purity and expectation, single at 60. Woo! Purity and expectation, single at 60. Let's jump straight into it. I'm just ready to go. Evangelist Nelson, tell us, how long have you been saved? How long have you been in church?
Wow. I would say all my life, because I was born on the church bench, they say, right? So my father was always into ministry. He was a pastor. So I was always in the church. I don't know anything else. This is all I know.
So pretty much from day one, you're a church baby.
Yeah, church baby.
So how would you describe your relationship with God? Because sometimes people get it twisted that, being in church is equivalent to having a relationship with God. But from day one, how would you describe your relationship with God, growing up in the church?
Growing up in the church was really, really exciting. It was nice. Those days the church was on fire, which I'm not saying it's not today, but those days we were young and we were always in the church. And one thing, whenever service started and the song started playing, we just started jumping up and rejoicing, even though we weren't really in the spirit, but it just seemed exciting. We were just excited to be at church, And because I grew up in the church, it was just something very, very powerful, very nice, exciting. My father was a very strict man.
Yeah.
Very strict man, and my mother along with him was very strict. So everything around me was church. And the time we lived right beside the church. So we had our own church and our house was right smack beside the church.
Literally be born in church.
We never missed a prayer meeting, a fasting service, a tarrying service, every Bible class, everything. We were there. Yeah.
So would you say that strictness of your father in particular, because I know you mentioned that your parents, they're also Christians. I think you even mentioned that your daddy was a bishop as well.
Oh, yeah.
That strictness, would you say that it was one of the things that that was passed down or handed down to you in your personal life, where it impacted the decisions that you made growing up, coming through your teenage years? Was that strictness of your parents was the thing that kept you?
I would say yes and no.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. I was scared of my father because he was so stricken, But I loved my father because of the authority that he had.
Mm-hmm.
And when I used to hear him preach and minister, he was also a singer. And when I would hear my dad sing, and just the way he loved the Lord, and how we talked about the scriptures and everything, it put a fear in me, and I always wanted to please my dad.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of, in that sense, you know what I mean? But as you get older in the gospel and the church, and you've seen so many things, and being a pastor's kid at PK, you heard testimonies. People come over to the house and would pour out their hearts, and my dad would minister to them, and I would see things come to life. What he would say, he would discern, prophesy into their lives. And when I would see things come to life, I knew that there was a God and God was real. And I just wanted to be a part of that. There was also a book that was out by the name of Oma. I don't know if you ever heard of it, Oma. It's a UPC old lady that wrote this book. That book changed my whole life. So even though I knew of everything, knew of the church and knew the standards and all that, that wasn't enough still. Because, you know, growing up into the church and in the home, it was always Dad would all call us all to prayer and stuff like that, and we would always open our eyes. And sometimes I want to go to the washroom or do something and sneak and going. And my dad always said, I believe that when you pray, you must pray with your eyes open. So he would see us always watch and pray. So that's how I grew up. But yeah. So yeah, yes and no.
But tell us though, what formed or shaped your view or your perspective, your perception on relationships? Because I'm looking at you. I know I want to be respectful now, to you, Lady Nelson. But looking at you, you're a very beautiful woman, and you're much older than I am. I would assume that your beauty was not just from today or yesterday, but you were a beautiful young lady coming up. I would assume, looking at you. What really formed your perception and your view on relationship? You must have had guys hunting you down for relationships in church, growing up as a beautiful young sister, the pastor daughter. Many guys would pursue you. What shaped your view of relationships?
You know what? To be honest with you, growing up in the church as a PK again, it was my parents had 7 of us.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 boys, 3 girls. And when I say my parents were very strict, they were very strict. So because of that strictness, guys were afraid to approach us girls. Yeah, they were very afraid. But having the gift of being able to sing and bless a soul, I think that attracted a lot of guys too, right? But it still wasn't enough. But I've had guys in the past that had approached me, but didn't have they didn't say the right thing. It wasn't, And then again, I was always, you got to talk to my dad and stuff like that. Go to my they didn't want to go through Bishop Bryan. So, yeah, it wasn't easy. It wasn't easy. But again, because of the fear I had for my dad and the love and respect that I had for him, it kept me grounded,
And naturally, I would assume that you walk the straight and narrow when it comes to the opposite sex, just because there, as you said, there's a level of respect for your father and his ministry and all of that. But Lady Nelson, you're a human being and you have blood circulating in your vein. You're telling me that as a teenage girl, and certainly you must have had a little boyfriend.
Well, you know what, to be honest with you, no. Never had no boyfriend. No, it was nothing like that.
Wow.
No, it was nothing like that.
Never desired one?
No, I'll be honest with you. When it comes to this topic like this, I've never been afraid to speak and to share. I've never been one of those who are afraid to say, I'm always telling people I am a virgin and I'm proud. Even at work, we talk about it, and I don't.
You're proud to say that?
I'm so proud. I am so proud of myself. I am so proud of myself. Yes, I can tell you that I've been engaged before. 1990, I got engaged, and he was from the Shiloh Apostolic Church in Jamaica, and from Kendall in Jamaica, and how we met is another story. But yeah, I'm living in Canada, and he's from Jamaica. How we met, that's another story. But it happened, and we met and went down to Jamaica. Even though we were corresponding on the phone, went down to Jamaica and came back and told my mother about it. And that time my dad had passed away. And I told my mom about him because my mother was now the pastor for the church. And I told her about this guy and, whatever have you not. And she said, okay. And she called her sister down there and told him about this guy. And aunt gave her a good word about him in the church because he's second to the pastor basically. And things worked out that I was able to go down with my mother and my older sister. Those of you know Pamela Morris, Evangelist Morris, went down to Jamaica. Yeah,
powerful woman of God.
So we went down to the Jamaica, 3 of us, and I got engaged. My mother did the engagement service and came back. So it was funny because I'll share this with you. When we were coming back at the airport in Jamaica, so we were there. So I was kind of sad and depressed because I'm leaving him.
Yeah.
And I don't know when I'm going to see him again because, the distance. And so when he was coming, he said he can't come to the airport to say bye to us. So it was just me and my mother. As we were about to board, all of a sudden I saw this guy come with a bunch of flowers at the airport in Jamaica.
It was him.
It was him. So when he came and he, embraced me, you feel something. So all I could do was, Jesus Christ. What is that? And he was so embarrassed. Then after my sister pulled me aside after, and she was like, "Oh my God,
Yeah.
But I got to understand what it was after. But anyways, he was excited, and and just to know that he was going to miss me. However, came back to Canada and I prayed and I prayed. And one thing with me, I've always learned when I pray to put my fleece out like Gideon. Mm-hmm. And I prayed and I put my fleece out and I talked to God and I says, God, if this really is your will, let him just come to Canada. Let him come. In my mind, I want him to come to Canada to see what Canada is like, just in case his mind is going to switch or turn. Maybe he might see another girl in Canada. I'd rather it turn when I'm engaged, not when I'm married. Mm-hmm. So that was my prayer. And God so happened to let him come. And he came. And when he was to go back, he didn't want to go back. He said, no, let's do the wedding here. So we started to plan for this wedding. And things were going good, started to plan for the wedding. And while planning for the wedding was supposed to be the Saturday. And the Friday, I was catering for 600 people. 600 people I was catering for. I had 9 bridesmaids, 9 ushers. I had flower girls. I had everything was done. The dresses, everything was done.
600 people.
Yes. So the wedding was supposed to be the Saturday. The Friday morning, I called off the wedding.
What?
I called off the wedding. I called it off. Why did I call it off?
I'm just about to ask that.
Why did I call it off? I called it off because there was a lot going on, and I felt like if I'm going to marry this guy, nobody needs to hear what I'm going through because you don't know how it's going to work. It will work itself out. Then I'm going to feel bad that I told everybody my business. So I didn't want anyone to know. So when that Friday came, it so happened, you know Grenville McKenzie?
Yeah.
Well, his father and my parents were very close. So he had a vision, and the Lord spoke to him, and he called. And when he called, he spoke to me on the phone. This was a Friday. And he said, I would love to be at your wedding, but I cannot come because this wedding is not of God.
Really?
This is what this Bishop McKenzie is telling me on the phone. And I said, oh my God. But in that sense, during all of that, I was going through much with this young man. Mm-hmm. It just didn't look like it was right. And one of the things he said to me was, in the eyes of God, we're already married, so we can go ahead and have sex. And I'm like, what? You're telling me this from where you're coming from? And there was so much more, but that was a big thing.
But I just want to just interject at that point there. So you're saying you are so strong in your faith and you're so
Don't mess with me with that. Don't mess with me
in your own skin that you called off the wedding the day before.
Yes.
Because here you have it that this man was, though he was in it, but it was almost as if he was unwilling to wait. You're saying that you did that?
And it didn't make sense. How come you don't want to wait? We're close at the finish line. We're so close at the finish line. But then again, there was a whole other things going on. And so I knew that this was not going to work the way I'm seeing so much things. It was too much things, too much, you know. And I felt within myself, God, what am I going to do? I'm catering for 600 people. You've had people from Patterson, New Jersey, from the Bronx, from New York, rented Greyhound buses. Had people from my country, England, come over. They were already here for the wedding, right? And plus, within Canada, within
and
Toronto.
you're telling me that you're telling our viewers, transcenders, that you did not buckle under the pressure?
No, because I tell you what, don't play with me when it comes to my standards and certain things. Don't play with me. You know what I mean? So what happened was that when the young man and I talked, we talked so much times, but when I saw this, and talking to this bishop now, going back to that, after he spoke to me, he said, I cried and I said, I should say before he called, I was praying and I was asking God for a sign. I said, God, even if on that wedding day, if you speak clearly to me, God, I promise you, even march it down the aisle, I won't do it. I said, even with
you're that serious?
Yeah, oh yeah. I said, God, just give me a sign. If I should even let me pass out, march it down the aisle. I promise you, God. I told him, I promise you.
Wow.
I will not do it. I will call it off. I said that to him. So when this bishop had called and told me now, tears came to my eyes because I know what I was praying for.
What you were praying for.
So I said, oh my God. And I started to cry. He goes, please don't tell nobody. I called you. Don't tell your mother. Don't tell Pastor Brian. Don't tell nobody any what's going on. I said, okay, Bishop, I promise I'm not going to say nothing to nobody. That time, my room was in the basement of the family home. My mother was upstairs. The catering guys, they dropped off the wine and this and that, and all these things were coming into the home. So we had people, like I said, from the States were already here. Greyhound buses were already here and all that stuff. So our house was full of guests. And the hotels that we had prepared for them to burst off to, all that was getting prepared. I had people working with me along with my mother and my sisters, my brothers, everybody. So at that time now, I remember going upstairs and I said to my mom, I said, Mom, I need to talk to you. And my mother said, I can't talk now. I'm so busy. Lord, the wedding just come. And this and that. She'll go. I said, Mom, seriously, I have to talk to you. And she said, okay, come. So I took her into her bedroom. And my mother sat on the corner of the bed. And I got a chair and pulled up. And I took my mother's hand and I said like this, feel my heart. My heart was ready to jump out. She goes, Jesus Christ, I'm just nervous, you're nervous. So I said, no, Mom, no, I'm not nervous. And tears came to my eyes. I said, Mom, I'm calling off the wedding. She goes, stop it, you can't talk like that. Look what's happening outside. And she was going on. I said, Mom, listen to me. You don't know what was going on. That time now, the phone rang in her bedroom. And she answered the phone. And when she answered the phone, my mother was like, yes, oh, praise the Lord, Bishop, yes, Bishop. And she's there. And all of a sudden my mother said, Jesus of mercy, what you saying to me, Bishop? And she's there having this conversation with him. And she said, okay, Bishop. And while she's there talking to him, the phone rang again. My mother said, Bishop, hold on 1 second. That was when Bishop Mackenzie called. So the bishop she was talking to is from the States, Patterson, New Jersey. And he said, I already sent busload, but I won't be coming because that wedding is not of God. It's not going to work.
Wow.
So please tell her to call it off or whatever, but I don't know what to say. But he says, I can't come to that one. That time, she's having him on hold, and she's talking to Bishop Mackenzie, who decides now to call my mother and talk to my mother because the way I was crying. Mm-hmm. And he told my mother everything. And he said, no, this is not of God. So my mother hung up the phone, and she came to me. She goes, whatever you decide to do, I'll stand by you 100%. Tears just flowed. I said, okay, Mom. I had to call.
But how was the reception from not only a guest? Tell us about how did they receive the news of you calling off the wedding? And also tell us about your fiance. How did he take it?
Well, at that time when I told my mother that, I said I need to call him because he's going to the airport to pick up his family who's coming in from.
Oh, jeez. So everybody is attended.
Yeah, so then I had to, I said to him, I have to call him. So I called him on the phone and I said to him, I need you to come over. I want you to come. I need to see you. And he says, I can't come now, honey. I can't come now because I'm going to the airport. I says, please don't go to the airport. I need you to come here first. Come here first. I'm going to send a car to come and get you. But they're not going to know. I said, don't worry. we're gonna flash it on the cardboards and whatever, and we'll get them here. Don't worry about it. I just need you to come here. And he insisted he would, and I screamed and I started to break down and cry. And that was when he said, okay, he's gonna come. So he came over. When he came, he goes, what is it? I made sure I told my mother, when he comes, let me talk to him alone. Don't come, I just need to be alone. No, you can't. He may do something to you. I said, Mom, please, just him alone. I don't need to see him. So he came. I told him to come into the room, and I sat on the bed, and I said to him, come sit beside me. And he sat beside me. And I said, I want you to hold me, and don't let me go on until I finish what I'm saying. And he said, okay, and he held me. So what's going on? And I said, I'm calling off the wedding. It's not going to work. And he let me go, and he walked off, further down into the room. And I said, you know we've been having struggles. You know that. And I said, right now, I feel that this is not our time. And no matter how far you go or how far I go, if it is in the plan of God, he will put us together. But right now, I can't see it happening. I need to call it off. And he got upset. By this time, I went out to call my mother. Like this time I went to call my mother. The door, when I opened the door, them almost falling. My mother, all my sisters, my brothers, they were all
everybody listening.
Everybody just came in and gathered around, and we sat down, and he sat on a chair, and he was just like that. So my mother told him, even though she's calling it off because you're from Jamaica and you're a visitor, we'll still take care of you, and we'll help you whatever it needs necessary. We will help you. But he had some friends here, so he went and stayed with them. So that was it. So it's explaining to everybody. So when we went upstairs, everybody, like I said, was in the house. My mother told everyone to stop. And she said, Anita, kneel down. Well, they call me Winnie. Winnie kneeled down. So I knelt down. And she told him, for the chair beside him, to kneel down. He took the chair, went all the way down there. And she said, we're going to pray for them because the wedding is now called off. Everybody was people were so mad at me. Was mad at me. But I remembered, this is what I remembered. When they finished praying, I don't remember after that because I blacked out. I was out. And I woke up in a hospital. My brothers had taken me to the Emerge.
Yeah.
But when I came back home, I'll never forget it. And I just said I need to be alone. And I went to my room. I went to the mirror and I looked at the mirror and I said, yes, I did it.
But one of the things, though, I really want to go back to, though. I know you spoke about your standards and, you will not compromise your standards. Mm-hmm. But certainly, the thought must have crossed your mind that, let me just give in a little bit to his request because I'm almost at the finish line. Mm-hmm. I'm almost a married woman. Mm-hmm. Certainly, let me just compromise just this one time. Mm-hmm. I have held on to these values and these standards all my life. Mm-hmm. I'm almost at the finishing line. Mm-hmm. You're telling me that those thoughts didn't cross your mind?
I'm going to be honest. There's times when we're going together and we're holding hands, and I'm like, Jesus, man, stop it! No, we can't do that. And I've been in a situation where he just wants to nibble at my neck or something like that, and I'm like, name of Jesus. I grew up that way. It was just bedded in me, you know what I mean? But every now and then when he would really hold me and kiss me, I felt my knees giving away. I felt my body drifting. You know what I mean? I liked that, what I was feeling. Yeah. But yet still, going back to that book I told you about, Oma, she talked about the angels that surround us, the angels that are there. And I kept saying, in my head now, in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, I do these things, the angels, what do they do? Do they turn away? Does Jesus turn his head away in shame that we're doing these? And that's how I grew up. That mentality.
You're always mindful.
Oh my goodness. You know what I mean? Now I'm going to let you know, I am not perfect. I am not perfect. I've done some things that I shouldn't have said a little lie here and there. Did certain things that haven't been perfect. But there's just certain things about me, I cannot do it. I just can't. Right? So that was not 1990. 2010, I got engaged again. Really? And I thought, okay, good, man, this is good. I had this made. This guy was my brother in the church, of course, and also he was he was like a businessman. He had his own company. So I was like, yeah, man, I got gold. This is really good. Yeah, man. And he was really, really good to me. But then there was a problem. We had an issue where he doesn't know how to communicate. The communication line was not good at all, and it was just a roller coaster. And I tell you, I don't know how I don't end up in a Meadows. You know what I mean? Because it was just a lot. It's just a lot I went through, but one of the things, even though he had his own place, he would get upset with me. Why can't you sleep over? Why do you just come to visit and you can't sleep over?
Here it is that you're faced with a situation of maybe compromising again.
So I'm saying to myself, okay, you know what, Lord, I'm just going to sleep over. Nothing's going to happen. I mean, I'm not going to do nothing. I'll sleep over, but he can sleep on the couch or something like that. But I don't want to lose this one now. Now that I have this, I'm getting older, and I don't want to lose this guy now. You know what I mean? But still, there was just something. I just couldn't do it. So what I would do, I remember at the time I got into an accident at work, so I was off from work for a period. So I had his keys to his home. So I would go into his home and I would make sure the house was clean, and I would cook dinner for him and stuff like that. He had 2 young girls, right? And I would go and pick them up from school, and just because I wasn't working, I was there, I was able to do that. But then after it hit me, what in God's name am I doing? I'm playing wife and I'm not even married to this guy. So I just couldn't do it no more. I couldn't do it. You know what I mean? So he would get upset, and I would talk to him about the church and tell him, you know what the church stands for and this and that and whatever have you not. And he just couldn't handle it. So here it was now. I'm in a situation where I want to call this thing is not going to work. It's not going to work because he wants too much from me that I cannot do.
Yeah.
And I refuse to do. So, Lord God, and I said, God, what am I going to do now? How do I call off this wedding? Because in my head now, I'm thinking, if I call this wedding off, people in the church, if a nice guy comes into the church, people are going to say, no, don't talk to her. She'll get you all excited, but then she'll drop you. I didn't want people to say that.
Yeah.
So I said, God, if this is of you,
same prayer again.
Then you're going to work it out. But if it's not of you, you confuse him. Let him call it off. But I don't want to call it off.
You don't want to be the one.
I don't want to be the one. But even though I wanted to call off, I don't want to be the one to do it. And it so happened. God confused the man that he called it off. So that time too, I had relatives from England, family from England was here. People were coming and everything. So it so happened that when he called off the wedding, and I was saying, oh my God, I'm so devastated still, even though I knew what I wanted, but still the hurt, it was still hurtful, you know what I mean? So I said, oh my God. So I packed my car and I just said, I'm just going to drive, just get out of the city. I just want to be out of the city. So our wedding was supposed to be the Saturday, the wedding was called off the Wednesday. Wow. So I need a lot of God. I just needed God, because I was about to lose it. So I packed my car to go until while I was in my car, ready to drive off now. I drove off just driving. My pastor at the time, which is Bishop Thomas, who was my cousin, called me.
Bishop Thomas from Rest Tabernacle. Yeah, I know.
So Bishop Thomas called me and he said to me, where are you? So I said, Bishop, I don't even know where I am. I'm just driving. He goes, okay, I need you to, wherever you are, turn back and come to church. I said, why am I coming there? He goes, because your fiance is here and he wants to talk to you. I said, talk to me about what? So he wants to talk to you. Can you come? I said, okay, because I'm curious still. I want to know what made him call off the wedding, even though I knew what it was. So I went to the church and he was there, and Bishop sat there and he said to me, he goes, okay, Sister Bryan, what do you have to say? I said, have to say? I never called him mean. Right? So then after he turned to the young man, he says, what is it you would like to say? He said, well, I don't know what happened. I don't know why I called the wedding, but call it off. But it can't happen again for Saturday, but I want it to happen. Because this woman, I love this woman, and she's the one I want. So Bishop turns to me and says, okay, Sister Bryan, you heard what he said. What do you say? I said, well, you know what? I'm looking at the floor. Well, you know what, Bishop? Since he called it off, let it stay off. That's all I said. That's all I said. And then that was it. And he said, see? You see what I mean, Bishop? She said, see? I can't talk to her, you see? So I had nothing else to say. I was done. So after Bishop was still trying to, so I just said, Bishop, excuse me. And I got up and I walked away. I went into my car and I drove far, just drove away. went and booked myself into a hotel and just stayed, and I cried, I bawled out.
Question though, Evangelist. Have there ever been a time where you felt as if that
Giving.
not even so much giving, but when you look and maybe you see your friends, they're married, your family, they're married,
having babies,
and they're like, have there ever been a time that you say, oh, okay, all right, I need to lower these standards a little bit because time is catching up with me? Have there ever been times where you thought about it like that?
No.
Never? Well, you must be a strong woman.
I never looked at it like that. And the thing is with me, I grew all of my nieces and nephews. All of them. I grew them. Because I was the only one in the family who never had children. All my brothers and sisters have children except for me. Right? All my friends have children except for me. And Marcia. But I've always said I want a house full of children because I love children. That's why I have 22 godchildren.
Wow.
And I just love children. I love kids. And and you know what? It's funny too, because even when you were in the church, in today's church, you look at them, they're doing this and doing that, and things that you would never have dreamed of doing. You see them doing it. I don't love them any less. You know what I mean? And I'm very tight and close with them. So it was never a thing for me to be feel away. Oh my God, my life is running away. You know what I mean? The only thing I see that myself, I know when I'm getting old, when the knees start to hurt you and the back and the arthritis here and there, and the menopause coming on. But I've never really craved to say, when I first heard that I was, as I get older, because first of all, I was diagnosed with having glaucoma, and my mother, and everyone knows my mother, Pastor Brian, she was literally blind.
Wow.
She was blind in 2 eyes, and she was a diabetic. She had skin cancer and all of that. So at least I was there to look after her until that time. My sister had died, my younger sister Rose, right? So things happen, but God has a plan.
Yeah.
Right? So I don't look at it like that. I look at my life was fulfilled. Yes, I wish I got married earlier, and I wish I had my kids, that I can say that they came from me. I wish, but it didn't happen that way. I'm not crying over it. You know what I mean?
So what do you say then to young ladies that would say, "Boy, I'm Sister Nelson, that's in your time. In these times, the young men they want to experience their have sex first before marriage. They can't commit to anybody if they don't experience them like that." So what do you say to young sisters in church now that's saying that we would like to do what you have done and to hold on to your purity, but we cannot do it?
And no, there's no, you can't do it. You can't. If you really, really want to, you can do it. I believe in, my mother used to always say, there's no losing God. Right? When you put God first, God will take care of you. And seek to go higher in God. Seek to find something in the church and do something. You know what I mean? Something that you're passionate. Find something to do, but always seek to go higher in God. Look what's going on in our world today. You know what I mean? It's so much confusion and so much. It's just a mess. You know what I mean? And when we really look into it, from when I was a child, from back home in England, I've heard my parents say, "Gotta come, it's just around the corner, right? But it hit me one day. Maybe it wasn't around the corner for me, but it was around for somebody else. Because you hear of so much people dying. It could have been you. It could have been, you know what I mean? So I think within myself, I have always learned that to please God, and I don't want His face to turn away in shame of me, right? I put on His name for a reason. And one of the things is we say that we are Christians, but yet we don't live the Christian life. What's the point? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's the mentality that I born with. Yeah. So.
I know you have spoke about your faith and your relationship with God, but to this point, what really made you, held on so tightly to your purity and to your virginity, where there is, as the song said, I almost let go.
Mm-hmm.
There must have been times when certain feelings arrived and you felt as if you're gonna let go. What caused you to hold on so tightly in a world where, especially what we're faced with now, is that women and their body and their virginity, there's not a lot of value placed on it. Like, things have become so common. Things have become the norm. That should not be the norm. What caused you to hold on so tightly?
I was never one of those that I like. When it sings, I almost let go. Never been me. No. That's just no. No, for real though. For real, no.
You're serious?
Yeah, for real, no. I've never felt like giving up, letting go. No. Yes. As a human being, as a woman, of course you get the same feelings. The same feelings everybody has. I have the same feelings, right? But I would not be a sellout. I would not give up. No, you know what? There's just no possible way I could do that.
You value your relationship with God so much.
I just can't do that. I just cannot.
But what do you say to those that will say God will forgive? So you can just do a little thing. God will forgive you, man.
But I may just be the one when death comes. It's just a fear. It's just a fear inside of me. Like the day when I do it, that's a day when I die. That's just my fear. You know what I mean? And I said, no, son. It doesn't make sense. And
sorry.
You know what I always say? There's a tomorrow. How am I going to feel after I laid in that bed of fornication? How am I going to feel tomorrow? Why go through all of that? Why go through all of that? I know it's hard, and I know people have said it to me. 60 years old? Would you believe even after I got married, I still couldn't do it?
No.
I said, Jesus Christ. Because I'm just wasn't used to it. But thank God who God gave me, because He was so patient with me. So patient with me. And now I'm saying, wow, that's what I was missing all along. I'm glad I waited. I'm glad I waited. I'm really glad I waited.
Do you think that our sisters nowadays, do you think they too can do it?
Of course they can do it. If they really want to do it, it's a made-up mind. It's a made-up mind. And I'm not going to say God made me more special than you, or God doesn't love them any less. No, I'm not going to say that. You know what I mean? God still loves you. He still loves you. But it's just who I am. It's just who I am. Can you do that too? Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You can do it too. You know what I mean? It's just a determination and a love for God and a fear for God also. You can love Him and fear Him at the same time. You know what I mean? And trust me, He will take care of you. He will take care of you.
Did you ever at any point have friends around you that said to you, come on, Anita, man. Stop the foolishness.
Oh, God. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
And what was your response to them?
Oh, boy, poor thing. They don't understand. Yeah, you know what I mean? I said, poor thing. They're not reach there yet. You know what I mean? I would say to myself, yeah. Even at work, even today, they're always making fun of me. You know what I mean? And I like it.
You like it?
Make all the fun you want. I like it. Because one day I go see.
But how do you encourage or speak to a young man, a young woman that might be crumbling under the pressure of, people making fun at them or joking around that, 20-year-old virgin, 30-year-old virgin, 40-year-old virgin, and make fun of them, and they're just at the breaking point where they're about to give up.
Yeah.
Just because of what people are saying. How do you deal with that?
Who are people though? Right? That's number one. Who are people? Who are they? Who are they? And who is more important? You know what I mean? So what you're doing, if you choose that you want to stay and wait until God blesses you, you can do it. You just have to have that made up mind and that determination, and realize that people will always talk. They'll always talk. They'll always have something negative to say. But that's the plan of the enemy. And if you can just see and realize that that's the enemy, just visualize that person not being that person, but that person being the enemy speaking to them to tell you these things, to throw you off path. You know what I mean? And once you realize that,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. But it becomes easy because you know what? Just saying it alone is one thing, right? But if you're determined that you want to live this way and make sure and God is pleased, there must be fasting and prayer, right? You have to have something to hold you, right? And also find someone that you can talk to. Find someone that you can sit down and really be real. Just be real, be raw, and really talk to.
But in a world, though, I hear you. I really hear you. But in a world where you find people, they're doing so much changes to their bodies, you find that deception is now the order of the day. You don't think it's fair to experience somebody's body before you actually tie yourself into a lifetime of marriage? What if you had married, just for example, what if you had married your husband and the thing didn't work? What, you are already married to him for life. Oh, these things didn't cross your mind?
Those things, yes, those things do cross my mind. But this is where prayer comes in, where I really have to have a relationship with God and really talk to God that, God, if this is of you, and do like Gideon, put your fleece out. If this is really of you, God, you know I love you, and you know I'm serving you, and I'm doing the best, and I don't want to fall, I don't want to backslide, and I know, God, if I ask you for bread, you're not going to give me a stone. God, then it's okay, right? So you're totally depending on God. I surrender everything, and I give it all to God. So God, you're going to take care of it. Even if God give you a man and the thing not working, God have a way of making it work. God will do it. I just believe that. He will do it. I just believe that. No, man.
Will he do it?
Will he do it? Yes, he will. Yes, he will. I just believe that.
What I want to get to know, you have been through 2 serious relationships, almost got married. What was so different about your husband now? What made the difference with him? What caused you to look at him and say, this is the man?
Wow. I'll tell you what, how we met, I didn't see him. It was a friend of mine that told me about him. And he was here visiting. He was from Jamaica and visiting. And she told me, and I said, girl, stop that thing. You know I'm not into that kind of stuff. I don't like this setup. No, I'm not into that. No. So she, the last setup that I had, it was that was the first engagement I got engaged. So when she tried to do that, I said, no, I'm not in it. She goes, no, man, I'm going to give your number to him. Or your picture. I'm going to send your picture to him. And I said, the blood of Jesus. And I said,
that's what you said?
Yeah, sorry. And I said to her, no. I said, don't do that. So I said, well, send me a picture of him. Because this is a sister in the church that I know in good standards. And I said, send me his picture. You see, when she sent me a picture, we said, whoa. I just, instantly.
Yeah.
I said, okay, give him my number to him. Let him call me. So he called me. And when he called me, everything just fell into place. When he called me, we decided to meet. So at the time, I was moving from my brother's house, and I was going into Mississauga. So at that time, while I was there packing and everything, he called that particular time. So I told him that I was moving and I'm busy packing. He goes, I'll come and help you. And I said, oh, that time you don't know, I need the help so bad because my back was tearing off. So anyways, he said, I said, okay, what is your address? I'll come pick you up. So he put his sister on the phone. and she gave me there. I said, what? That's just down the road. You could walk it.
Really?
It was so close. So
wow.
Yeah, so I directed him, and he just walked it. And he came over, and that man helped me pack so much boxes, and we took it to the new house and where I was staying, and everything just worked itself out. So from there, we began to talk, and then he left and went back to Jamaica. And then when he went back to Jamaica, we talked more, and from there, it just happened. Then COVID came, and when COVID came, it just put us behind, put everything behind, and when he finally decided to come back now, the planes were not traveling, so he couldn't come. It was just everything, like I saw where the enemy was just working it out. But I prayed so much. And the funny thing is, when he was here the first time before he met me, he went to one of the churches. And this woman who I call mother, who I look to, she's like a mother to me. She saw him in the service, and she went to him and she says, I have a word for you from the Lord. And he said, what is it? And he said, the Lord said, your wife is here in Canada, but she's not from this church. Wow. That was what she said. And what I like about him, his boldness. Because some of the guys are kind of shy and don't really want to say what they want to say and just picking it and choosing it. But he had such a boldness. And I admired that so much, and that was what did it for me.
At any point in time, did you hear or did you thought about yourself that maybe, Anita, I'm a little bit too picky?
There's times when I've said certain things, like, for instance, if we're going down, they want to hold my hand, and I'm like, so now I can hold the hand. I'm okay to hold the hand. But I say, yeah, go kiss me, no, sir. I know I couldn't handle that one. that was just something I was not used to yet. I couldn't, But I think after I got engaged, after I did get engaged, he would kiss here. And that was as far as it was.
But Lady Anita, it is certainly, the young people, they're saying that nothing is wrong with petting, and I know even for, to share even my own journey when I was dating my wife, I was like, nothing no wrong with little kissing, and she was like, no, we're not doing it, and I was like, nothing no wrong with kissing. So what do you say?
To be honest with you, but you know what, some people are at different levels, right, different stages. So guess what? What if, let's say, for instance, you mentioned your wife. What if she never did that? What if she never said no? What if she said, yes, let's do it? What would have come after that?
I think I'm strong enough.
You think you're strong? So you think you could, and what about her at the time?
I could be strong for the two of us.
I've heard guys tell me that they could be strong for me. They said, no, I won't let you go that far. I said, really? No. My suggestion is, guess what? If you allow that, something else is going to happen. Right? So you mingle in it. It may not happen today. It might happen down the road. Because in your mind, you're going to say, you know what, he's right. Nothing's going to come out of this. Nothing's going to happen. It's okay. He can kiss me. He can touch me. He can, Then all of a sudden you feel good, and you want him to touch you here. And you take his hand and put it further down. You want him to touch you here. And it just goes out of hand, right? And then guess what happened? It will happen. And then when it happens, you don't want to tell nobody. And you're begging him, please don't say nothing what happened. I'm sorry what happened last night should never have happened. Why go through all of that? Just don't do it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And just wait. Just wait on God.
But for those that maybe would have made that mistake though, and maybe would have, fallen into that unfortunate trap, what do you say to them? Do you think that they can stand again, and do you think they can recover that level of purity that they had before? What do you say to them?
Yes, they can. To be honest with you, God is a God of forgiveness. And if you're genuinely sorry for your sins, God will forgive you. But doesn't give you the right to do it again. You got to be very careful. And then again, you may do it again too. But thank God for grace and thank God for mercy. You know what I mean? That's why I never judge anyone, because how I lived my life, how I got through certain things, that was me. Right? And that was how I dealt with it. Right? And you may not be me, and I'm not saying to be me, but all I would recommend is that you get close to God, get that relationship with God. And we all need to have the fear of God in us, because we don't know tomorrow's going to come. Are we going to be here tomorrow? Are you going to be here tomorrow? You go to sleep. Do you know if you're going to wake up tomorrow? So guess what? We don't know what our tomorrow is. We don't know. So the best thing is to just abstain from it, stay away from it, right? It's okay to love from afar. If you know yourself, you know what you can handle, right? And there's times even if you know yourself, still you can still fall. So the best thing is just to be careful, be very careful and stay away. Get a chaperone if you have to. Call a friend. Let's go out together. Let's do something together. Go to dinner, somewhere. But yeah, that would be.
Well, one of the things that I've heard it before, the young people, they're saying that what else in a relationship is there to do? It's not like we can pray every day. That's boring. It's not like we can't go to the park every day because that's boring. Every now and again, a little, tender caressing, and every now and again a little touch, and every now and again encouragement certainly sweeten the labor of waiting. I mean, what do we say to this generation that some of them, they are even unwilling to even listen?
I think one of the things too with me that I have noticed and learned was, I don't know if you know Bishop Johnson from Brownstown.
Yes, I do.
Yes.
Yeah, I do.
I remember when they used to go there to their conventions a lot. But at this one particular day, went to their convention, and Bishop Johnson loves me so much, and it was through Bishop Johnson that God used him. I was really sick, really bad, and the Lord used Bishop Johnson to do a surgery on me. And I went to their convention, and that man just loves me so much, so he puts me on the rostrum and made me sing every convention and service and what have you. And I remember when we were going home, and I was going down the aisles, and the daughter was walking me down the aisle. It was like something like, how can I explain it? Like I felt like I had bodyguards, you know what I mean, type of thing. But the way how, because everybody wanted to talk to me, everybody wanted to touch me. And there was one little old lady, I had a handkerchief. And the old lady said to me, "Can I have your handkerchief?" And she stopped me to talk. And I was telling them, "Please give me a chance, let me just talk to her." And she said, "Can I please have your handkerchief? I believe if I have the handkerchiefs, God is going to heal me." My God, the anointing came on me so much. That meant so much to me. You know what I mean? And wouldn't you want to live right for that old lady?
Yep.
Come on.
Yep.
You give her a handkerchief like that and then you go and sin because you have a nice guy. No, man. I can't do that. You know what I mean? Just for that old lady, that thing touched me so much. And I said, oh my God. It touched me so much that she's counting on me.
There's people looking on. I get it.
You know what I mean? And I can't do that for the people that are counting on you, man. Hallelujah.
I get it.
Yes. Couldn't do that, man. Couldn't do that. No.
Couldn't break their hearts, because you have people looking on and they're so encouraged by seeing you, and some of them witnessing the anointing that is resting on your life, and then you do something like that, it breaks them.
Oh God, man, come on. You know what it's like, man of God, when you're preaching. Come on, look how many people are, saying yes, and they're receiving the word from you, and they're being healed through the word from you. It's like when I go up and sing to, you know what I mean? No, so much people are counting on you, and they're encouraging you. Say, Sister Bryan, keep doing what you're doing. I admire you. These are the things what they need to hear too, that they're admired, that they're loved. I'm thinking of you, because I know you can press on, you can do it. You know what I mean?
And something though, something that, because I believe that this is such a profound moment, because, in it, there's just revelation. Because one of the things that just jumped out at me is that people's faith and walk with God, even whether or not we want to accept it, it is altered by the things that people in authority and people in the limelight whatever the things we do, it have a lasting impact and can quite possibly alter people's Christian faith, walk with God. Imagine, I get caught doing certain things as a preacher. So many people looking on, respecting me. All of a sudden they say, let me not keep this standard anymore because see, Minister Brown over there, he just did that. So it's okay for me to fornicate. Or, let me do this because Lady Anita, she does it.
Exactly, yeah.
So we have to understand that if we're gonna preach it, we have to very well
you have to
live
it. Yeah. What's the point? What's the point of calling ourselves a Christian? We're supposed to be Christ-like? Come on. Some things I see some people doing and I'm saying Christ-like. Christ-like? You know what I mean? Oh my goodness.
At this point, Lady Anita, after you surveyed all that you have been through in your life, everything that you have done, the highs, the lows, the mountaintops, the valleys, at this point, can you tell us, are you truly happy?
Right now I am ecstatic. I am. I really am. I never had breakfast in bed.
Wow.
Like I'm just getting this really good treatment. Now, of course, remember it's somebody I'd never known. And it's like two worlds coming in because I was born in England. He's born in Jamaica. So he does certain things. You know what I mean? I'm like, why do you have to brush your teeth? You're brushing teeth. Why is it all over? Why is it and he would laugh at me. You know what I'm saying? And then he comes to me and he says, babe, did you see my tie? I look at him. I don't wear a tie. I just know things.
Yeah.
So yes, we have our little ups and downs, but it outweighs. You know what I mean? But so I'm learning to adapt with somebody else. I'm learning that how I used to like certain things or do certain, and now got to compromise because I have somebody, and so he does also. You know what I mean? You're now in my space. You're now we're sharing one bed where I like my own bed, but now I'm sharing it. So I'm learning all these things. But yet right now, I am so happy. I wish for more. But right now, am I happy? Yes, I am truly happy. I am truly happy. I wouldn't have it no other way.
So on this platform, on the Thinking Christian Talk Show, Transcend, was it worth the wait?
It was worth the wait. They that wait upon the Lord shall renew. I feel my strength is being renewed. I feel so good. Oh my gosh. Sometimes I'm pinching. No, really, I'm literally pinching myself. Am I really married? Am I really happy after everything that I've been through? Sometimes I cry because it's tears of joy because of everything that I've been through, to see how God came through. No, man. God is good.
Is still.
It pays to serve Jesus.
Oh my
I speak from my heart. He'll always be with me if I do my part. There is nothing in this wide world can pleasures afford. There is peace and contentment in serving the Lord. Wow.
I want to say to you, young ladies, you can do it.
Amen.
You can. You don't have to sell out. You don't have to compromise. You don't have to be wavering in yourself and in your faith. Here it is that you have a true example to look at. A true story to go to encourage you that you can make it.
Amen.
They that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. Lady Anita, I want to thank you so much for this powerful testimony, for this powerful moving story, for in this time, in this season where our young people, they're under attack, where good has now become bad, right is now wrong. It's it is still critical, it is still important, transcenders, to know that right will always be right. Lady Anita, what's next? What's next for the powerhouse Lady Evangelist Anita Nelson? You have done it all. You have talk about church circles. You have been there. Being amongst bishops, being amongst powerful men and women. You have done it all. What's next for the singing bird, I would like to call her?
Oh, I hope to come out soon with a new recording. Yes, I want to work on something this time, and my husband is encouraging me even now, and because what he used to
say that again.
I know my husband. I know, trust me. It sounds weird. I hear it, but it sounds weird. Wow, can you believe it? 60 years old, I got married, and then now
60.
July coming, I'll be 62.
Wow.
Yeah, 62.
And might I say, you certainly don't look that your age.
Wow, thank you.
One of the things that I find to be so inspiring about your story, God is not a debtor to no man.
Mm-mm.
And because you have not wavered in your faith, in your biblical principles, in what you believe, God not only bless you with a good man, He bless you with a man that is patient.
Oh my God, trust me.
You have some. You have some unfortunate situations where a woman grow up in church and she meets a man and he seems all nice, and then all of a sudden him start beat her up and domestic violence and stuff like that. But God actually honors you. He gave you something good. I'm so grateful for your story. Let me just tell you right now over this platform, I am grateful. And I believe that your story will go far. It will touch young people that are struggling. Lady Anita, before we go, I want you to just take a few seconds, look into those cameras, and right now speak into maybe a young man's life, a young lady's life. Speak into their beings right now and let them know they don't have to waver in their faith. They too can make it. They too will be rewarded if they will. Just say something to them.
You are a child of the Most High God. Don't sell out for nobody. God loves you and you and you. And you can make it. You can make it. Trust in the Lord and be of good courage, and He will strengthen your heart. Don't sell out for nobody. Don't listen to the other voices, but listen to the voice of the Lord. And anytime if you need to talk to someone, find someone and talk to. Don't keep it inside, but share what you really want to talk about to somebody, and they will help you. But seek to know God. Seek to go higher in God. And whatever you need from God, there is no lose in God. He will be there for you on time. God bless you. I love you. Amen.
Lady Anita, I want to say thank you. God bless you. May His face and His grace be ever present in your life.
Amen.
Thank you, and God bless you.
Thank you.
There you have it, folks. Right here on Transcend, the Thinking Christian Talk Show. Say it with me wherever you are. Unlocking truth, transcending lives. Unlocking truth, transcending lives. If you were so blessed by this interview, if your darkness would have been enlightened, I encourage you now, go ahead and click the like, share, and subscribe. Go ahead and click it. The button is right there. Do it with me, sister. Right there. Click, like, share, and subscribe. Right here, you heard the story. You heard it. Purity at age 60. You can do it too. Click, like, share, and subscribe right here on the Christian Thinking Talk Show. Unlocking truth and transcending lives. Right here on Transcend. Thank you, viewers, for viewing this another episode of Transcend. Please join us again. I implore you to join us again. Alright, here on Transcend. Unlocking truth, transcending lives. Until next time, folks, walk good and God bless.